Cara must now wait 3 weeks for Kathy's team to analyse the scans. The first signs of dyslexia often appear when children start learning to read and write at school.
My old school books.
Cara started to notice she was behind the other children when she was around 6, but didn't understand why.
I just remember thinking, oh, goodness, it's just so hard, and do they really expect us to do this? And everyone else seems to be finding it really simple. This is what I did a lot, the kind of writing the word how it sounds. So friendly would be F-R-E-N-L-Y. Why would you design a word that doesn't spell the way it sounds? That's like just putting a Z in where, just for the sake of it, as far as I was concerned. And I remember even thinking, concentrate and read. And I'd even go like this with my eyes, as if the eyes being wider would kind of help it go in. And sometimes I'd go, and then I'd go, what are they asking me to do? No, it didn't go in. I did feel stupid, really. I think I just felt stupid.
Cara's teacher spotted she was struggling when she turned 7 and dropped a bombshell on her mum and dad.
We were flabbergasted. She was 26 books behind everybody else over a period of 5 weeks. And she had very low self-esteem, coming up to that time. And I think as a person naturally, she's fairly quiet and doesn't push herself forward naturally, because I think there is that sort of lack of confidence sometimes.
I just hated going into school, and Dad always dropped me off at school, and I used to run after him nearly every morning until I was about 11.
Cara was sent for tests, which gave her parents a much-needed answer for why she was so behind.
The fact that Cara was then diagnosed as being dyslexic, that pressure came off almost immediately. I can well imagine that if she wasn't doing so well at school for reasons that we didn't understand, then we would have been probably a lot less patient with her. There could have been more arguments, and it would have been more stressful, and that would have had a profound effect on Cara's upbringing over the next few years.
Cara's future as an actress began at that moment.
We wanted her to do speech and drama purely because it was important for self-esteem.
This is my last night as being a blonde, Lola. Again, watching Teletubbies.
It quickly became evident that she was good at those things.
So where did you know?
She could stand up in front of people and, in a small way, start her acting career, I suppose.
Everyone has something that they can do and they can excel at, I believe. But it's whether you've got the support behind you from your parents to go and find what that may be. And it's not always going to be found in the school environment.
Today, over 750,000 British school kids are thought to be dyslexic. But many go undiagnosed, and schools can find it hard to cope with the 4% of children that are severely dyslexic. 10 years after leaving school, Cara's going back to the classroom to meet some of these children. She's visiting one of Britain's 14 registered specialist schools for dyslexics. It's a last resort for many of the pupils here.
I'm really kind of excited about seeing a school that specialises in something that I've had throughout my life.
Shapwick is a private boarding school where lessons are tailored to the needs of each of its 170 boys and girls.
Hello.
Good morning, Cara. Come on in.
This is a lovely small class. It's very
No snoozing in the back row, I'm afraid, because the back row is only the second row.
I know.
And we've set you up a desk here.
Okay.
If you'd like to sit down, and you can join in with our English lesson this morning.
I'll try my best. Don't show me up too much.
And anything you're not sure of, you can ask Will, because he's had lots of English lessons in this classroom.
So you're used to it.
So before we start that, who can tell me, what are these letters called? Patrick?
They're called vowels.
They're They're sort of cowards, aren't they?
Dyslexia doesn't just affect reading. It can obstruct short-term memory too.
What do we know about this letter here?
The big K, it's not very nice.
So pupils here are taught new words by linking them to bright colours, shapes and stories to help store them in their long-term memories. It's called multi-sensory learning.
What do we need to do to the little vowels to help them?
CK.
We give it a friend that makes the same sound. So what I'd like you to do, boys and girls, is to make your alphabet with your plastic letters. Now, listen carefully to this one. Tank. Tank.
Oh my God, is it CK? I thought it was just K.
Right. Why did you think it was just K, Cara?
I thought it was just K because the N is there to protect the A.
Exactly. So you're right, it is.
Oh, thank you.
You're absolutely right, don't worry.
Cara's already breaking school rules.
Well, it's definitely got a CK.
You're not whispering in the back row.
No, sorry.
Most dyslexic school children don't get this kind of support. But to come to a school like Shapwick, parents must pay fees or fight for very few state-funded places.
I just know that the normal way of teaching didn't go in for me, and actually now this is it, and it's kind of making me laugh because it's so funny how I know I would have. It just makes sense that it goes in. Because you're learning in this way, you'll be so more advanced than I am.
Will is 10, and like many dyslexics, he also has associated conditions which can make school even harder. He started boarding here 2 years ago after falling behind and being picked on.
What do you remember finding the most difficult?
Maths.
I don't like maths either.
Wasn't very good at spelling, and I wasn't very good at reading either. They just made me feel like I was awkward. I wish I could be somebody else. But then when I came to this school, I realised that I want to keep who I am now because I know that I'm not stupid.
What word were you practising, Will?
Pocket.
Pocket.
As part of their English lesson, the children spell out words with physical movements. It helps the words to stick in their long-term memories.
K makes you remember the shield protecting the K.
The shield protecting the K. Yeah, I like that one. It just goes in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
P-O...
10 years ago, her old school did its best to help her. But for Cara, this way of learning is a revelation.
Pocket. Well done.
And I've just realised today that everything I learned at school wasn't progressive at all. It was just all staggered, and I did used to put my hand up, and I was confident enough in an awkward way to say, I'm sorry, miss, whoever, what did you say again? Or what do you mean? And the teacher's answer was, you should have been listening, Cara. And I remember I didn't hear that once. I heard that over and over and over. And actually the teachers really thought I wasn't paying attention when I was paying 100% attention. And also, you know, I was talking to the teacher today and we said how actually some kids can then go into having behavioural problems because they're told so many times that they weren't listening and they weren't paying attention and they're bad, when actually naughty kids in other schools have come to this school and they're not naughty at all.
On average, 2 to 3